Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel and happy Father's Day. Today we are going to talk about the flexible flyer Airline Eagle, and I have 5 examples that we'll go through, and we'll look at the differences in them and talk about the history of the sled. The Airline Eagle is the feature sled of the year. It is streamlined for beauty, speed, and safety. It's new, it's different, and it's on display in leading stores now, together with 12 other flexible flyer models. So I have 5 examples of an Airline Eagle, and this is the earliest one. This is a Series A. It was produced in 1935 and rolled out in 1936. And you can tell the difference between the Airline Eagles and the other sleds in the Flexible Flyer Airline series because this was chrome. The bumper was chrome, the steering bar and the steering rails were chrome. You can better see it here. It also had this sort of accent here on the bumper, and then on the steering bracket it also had an accent here. The first year they had an elongated deck, you can tell right here, as opposed to subsequent years 37 and on. In the different series 151B they did not have that elongated deck. So that's the biggest difference between the two. The Airline Eagle also, if you look here, did not use nails. The entire deck was riveted to the frame and to the steering bracket, which is right here. So they did not use nails, they used rivets, and I'll show you an example. In this Airline Junior here, you can see that they do not have a wooden bracket that's connecting the deck by the joist, and if they did, it was nailed together, so you can see the nail sticking out, whereas this was entirely riveted. Okay, let's take a look at the back of the sleds. This is the oldest that I have. It's a Series A, and you can tell because it has an A on it. It also has a bracket which is above the steering joist. You can see that right here, this metal bracket, which is above the steering joist. It has the elongated deck, and when we compare it to this one, the bracket is below the joist, and the deck is cut off earlier. It doesn't come up high as in this one. So this guy right here, like I mentioned, was produced for probably about 1 year, 1935, 1936. It's on the first advertisements that we see, and then subsequently this type is after that. But what differentiates this guy from this guy is that this has a series stamp on it, but no lettering. So we don't know if this was the old stamp that they used and they decided not to put on the A. They didn't know what to name this, so they left it, and then later they named it 151B right here. And most of the sleds have this stamp, 151B. And we also know that the 151B was produced starting as early as 1937, and we know that because this model that I have here has the boy's initials and the year that he purchased it, 1937. So here on the table I have a 151B, the later model, with a broken steering bracket. Again, Airline Eagles were produced starting in 1935, 1936, and they have a super steering mechanism here. As you can see, that fits in there. I detached that, but when I bought it, this was broken. And many of the Airline Eagles have, because of this design, this broke frequently. So you will find them, many of them you find, and this piece here has been broken. And in the case of this guy right here, was rewelded, as you can see here. Dad rewelded it back to the sled. So that could be one of the reasons why the sled was discontinued, is that this piece right here was frequently broken, because I do see a lot of them broken, and that may also be the reason that they were produced for 5 years and we don't see a lot of them, because maybe they were just thrown away after this piece broke. But let's take a closer look at the side here. You can see on this one, the knees and the runners have been repainted. This accent right here, this Art Deco accent, is typically black. It's been repainted, and it has safety runners. Those were started in '35, so those have safety runners. And any sled that doesn't have this in the Flexible Flyer brand is typically older than 1935. And the other examples here, you can see that the runners are red and the accents are painted black. Some of them have the black worn off, but that's how they were originally made. Okay, so for comparison, I have an Airline Eagle and an early Airline Junior. And the Airline Juniors, for a very limited time, Airline Pursuits and Airline Juniors also had a metal steering bar, which you can see here. And we don't know exactly what years they were produced, but they're very rare. But I brought this one out here for comparison with the Airline Eagle, so we can see the other thing that stands out with Airline Eagles, in that they have 3 deck boards and no rails. The rails are combined with the deck board. So here on an Airline Junior, they have 3 deck boards, center deck board, right and left deck board, and then rails, and then the steering rails here. Whereas in an Airline Eagle, the rails are combined with the deck boards. It's one piece of wood that swoops down like that. So that's the other major difference between the Eagles and other sleds. So now we are going to do a side-by-side comparison between the Airline Eagle on top and the Airline Junior on the bottom. As you can see, the standards of the knees here are Art Deco type. They're a lot thicker. They're wider on the side. They have these accents which are black. And then on the Airline Junior, they have the typical Flexible Flyer standards or knees. Here we can also see that there's an extra bracket here that connects the rail to the steering rail to the deck. And then here we have the same thing, except this bracket, it's connected directly to the knee and it's made out of wood. Whereas here, this goes a little bit lower, this is in front, this is all together, and there is no metal support bracket on this guy. So this one was riveted, this one was put together with nails and some rivets, but the Airline Eagle was top of the line, completely riveted, and had a nice streamlined look to it. We believe right now that there were 2 main versions, these 2 right here, and we have at least 3 different versions with 3 different stamps on the back. Series A, unnamed series right here, and then a Series 151B, which we believe is the most common. So that about does it for this week. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. If you have an Airline Eagle that you think is different than the 3 that I described, please let me know in the comments or email me. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.